Welcome back, everyone, to WWF Saturday Night's Main Event. This is episode number 3, and ladies and gentlemen, tonight is not just another night of action here in the World Wrestling Federation. Tonight is the beginning of something historic. 4 weeks, the WWF General Manager has spoken about opportunity, legacy, and destiny, and tonight those words become reality. This evening marks the opening chapter in a tournament designed to crown not just a winner, but a ruler. Tonight, the road begins toward the very first King of the Ring. At the end of this month, the WWF will present its very first premium live event, King of the Ring, and when that night is over, one man will stand above all others, crowned the very first King of the Ring in WWF history. But to earn that honor, 8 hand-selected superstars must survive one of the most demanding tournaments in professional wrestling history. These are not unknowns. These are not long shots. These are men chosen because the general manager believes they represent the very best the WWF has to offer. 2 of them know exactly how close greatness can feel. Both High Chief Peter Maivia and superstar Billy Graham both came within inches of capturing inaugural championship gold back on Saturday night's main event episode number 1, only to fall just short. Tonight they begin a new path, one fueled by pride, frustration, and unfinished business. Joining them are 6 more elite competitors, each dangerous in their own right. But before we get to those 4 quarterfinals for the King of the Ring, we open tonight with a match that reminds us the WWF is about more than just singles glory. It's about chaos, dominance, and survival in one of the most competitive tag team divisions in the world. Kicking things off tonight, we've got the Wild Samoans being led to the ring by their manager, Captain Lou Albano, taking on the Bushwhackers. And here are the Wild Samoans. Of course, in a tornado tag match, there are no tags, no escape. 4 men in the ring at once as 2 wildly different teams collide here tonight. From the islands of Samoa, the fearsome and destructive Wild Samoans, led by the ever-calculating Captain Lou Albano. And on the other side of the ring tonight, from New Zealand, the unorthodox, unpredictable, and wildly popular Bushwhackers, whose strange behavior hides a dangerous willingness to fight anywhere, anytime. This is order versus chaos, power versus madness, and it sets the tone for a night where nothing will come easy. First off, some background information on the Wild Samoans. They are one of the most dominant tag teams ever assembled. They're known for unmatched physical power and aggression. They wrestle with a savage, primal intensity. They rarely rely on traditional strategy, instead relying on overwhelming force. And their opponents making their way to the ring right now, hailing from New Zealand. Here come the Bushwhackers, the crowd going absolutely wild for these 2 lovable loons. They are among the most unconventional teams ever seen in the WWF. They're known for bizarre behavior that disorients opponents. They have quickly become fan favorites due to their unpredictability. They use chaos as their strategic advantage, and they're comfortable turning matches into complete bedlam. Of course, the Bushwhackers ignore traditional pacing and structure. They thrive in the tornado-style environments where it's absolute chaos, but you could say the same thing about the Wild Samoans. This is definitely an interesting contrast in styles. Let's see who comes out on top as this match begins. The Bushwhackers taking on the Wild Samoans here on episode number 3 of Saturday night's main event. Of course, as we watch this match unfold, Demolition currently stands as your WWF Tag Team Champions. Their victory over the Hart Foundation established a standard in the WWF Tag Team division. Of course, any team that is going to be able to take out Demolition is going to need to be at the top of their game. And both of these 2 tag teams have the absolute power, chaos, and unpredictability that could easily pose a threat to our WWF Tag Team Champions. The Demolition definitely among the most feared tag teams in all of professional wrestling. You'd have to say either one of these two tag teams would make a worthy opponent for Demolition at the next Premium Live event, where the tag team champions will have to defend their titles. We don't know who Demolition's opponent will be just yet. We're just starting to get to know the tag team division, but these are two definitely worthy options. Now, Wild Samoans were going for a pin there. Captain Lou Albano actually snuck in a kendo stick. But look at this. One of the Bushwhackers has picked it up, not able to connect as the Wild Samoans prevent him from doing so. Now, the Wild Samoans represent a terrifying future title threat to Demolition. This tag team division is deeper than it has appeared so far. We've only seen the one tag team match so far here in the WWF, with Demolition defeating the Hart Foundation. Here's a pin attempt from the Bushwhackers, but no, the Wild Samoans able to kick out. I believe that was Afa. They really should be able to distinguish between the two competitors on both teams, but we'll just continue to say the Wild Samoans and the Bushwhackers anytime an individual does something. The Bushwhackers' popularity here with the fans could also help them out. Maybe they can force their way into title contention, but one thing's for certain, you have to get wins to back up any title shot. You can't just coast in based off popularity. Oh, look at that, a devastating attack from one of the Bushwhackers with a kendo stick. And now here's a pin attempt. Could this be it? Could the Bushwhackers get the upset? No. And even though both teams are very powerful, both teams completely unpredictable, you'd have to give the edge here to the Wild Samoans due to their sheer power advantage against almost any tag team that they step into the ring with. But that doesn't mean the Bushwhackers won't give it everything they've got, and they're just crazy enough to think they've got a shot. A kendo stick continuing to being used in the ring there, and here's a pin attempt from the Wild Samoans, but no, the Bushwhackers able to kick out and reverse it. Now a pin attempt from the Bushwhackers, and now back again, yet another, back and forth those two go. Pin attempt after pin attempt, neither team able to get the upper hand. Here's another pin attempt from the other Bushwhacker, and that was nearly three, ladies and gentlemen. The Wild Samoans just barely staying alive, but they do just that, and this match continues. Of course, the Tornado tag matches reveal who thrives when structure collapses, and both of these two teams absolutely live for the chaotic environment that the Tornado tag matches provide. Captain Lou Albano's presence at ringside adds intrigue. Of course, he likes to work his way into the matches. Here's a pin attempt for one of the Wild Samoans, but Captain Lou Albano distracting the referee, and that actually backfired for the Wild Samoans. Here's another pin attempt from the Samoans. That's two, and this could be it, folks. That's two, and that's three. The Wild Samoans get the victory over the Bushwhackers here tonight. Counting can sometimes be hard for announcers, but we got to that 3 count. The Wild Samoans pick up a huge victory here tonight on Saturday night's main event. The Wild Samoans signaling that they are definitely a threat to Demolition's tag team reign. Of course, the Hart Foundation, they're not going anywhere. The Bushwhackers will continue to fight hard, and they'll look to bounce back from this tough loss. And we've got a few other tag teams out there that have not debuted yet. In fact, a couple of them will see singles competition between some of those tag team specialists. Getting back into the other 6 competitors that we'll see in the King of the Ring quarterfinals tonight. We've got the raw power of the mighty Hercules. We've got the ruthless intensity of the Iron Sheik, the technical brilliance of one half of the Hart Foundation, Bret the Hitman Hart, the explosive strength of one half of the British Bulldogs in the British Bulldog, and of course the towering menace of Big John Studd, a man almost as large as the 8th wonder of the world, Andre the Giant, and the unbreakable brawling spirit of Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Those are the other 6 competitors that we are about to see. The remainder of our matches here tonight will be King of the Ring quarterfinal matches. So we'll have 8 men vying for 4 spots in the semifinals. Those semifinals will be next week on Saturday night's main event, episode number 4. And then our final will be at the Premium Live event, King of the Ring, at the end of the month. But let's not take away focus from this huge victory from the Wild Samoans in our opening match. Now let's get ready for our first King of the Ring quarterfinal coming up next. Up next on WWF Saturday night's main event, we've got our first King of the Ring quarterfinal match. Ladies and gentlemen, the road to history officially begins right now. This is the first quarterfinal match in the inaugural King of the Ring tournament, and when the dust settles tonight, we'll have 4 men remaining in this tournament taking a step forward toward immortality. Standing in the ring tonight, once both men are down to the ring, will be 2 very different forces, one representing raw, unstoppable power, the other carrying legacy, pride, and experience. It's the mighty Hercules on his way to the ring now against High Chief Peter Maivia, and only one of them will advance to the semifinals and taking one more step towards being crowned the very first King of the Ring at WWF's premium live event at the end of this month. This tournament isn't just about winning matches, it's about earning a crown, carving your name into WWF history, and proving that even if championship gold isn't around your waist just yet, you are worthy of being called royalty. And here Hercules in the ring, known as one of the strongest men in the World Wrestling Federation. He has built his reputation on overwhelming physical power, wrestles with a dominant force-first style, rarely gets out-muscled by any opponent, and relies on power moves designed to end matches decisively. And his opponent coming down to the ring, we've already seen him back on Saturday night's main event episode number 1, competing for that inaugural Intercontinental Championship belt. He, of course, lost a tough match to Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. It is High Chief Peter Maivia. Of course, he comes from the South Pacific Islands, comes from a proud and respected wrestling lineage. He's known worldwide for toughness and resilience, and he wrestles with a blend of power, technique, and experience. Definitely revered for his durability and fighting spirit. And he recently came close to winning the inaugural Intercontinental Championship, as we mentioned. Of course, Maivia brings veteran poise into high-pressure situations. He's battled elite competition throughout his career. He sees the King of the Ring as his chance for redemption and recognition after coming up just short in that match for the Intercontinental title against Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff in our first episode. High Chief Peter Maivia taking control of the match early here as we watch these 2 incredible superstars battle. The match begins our journey toward crowning the first ever King of the Ring. This will, of course, be an annual event where top superstars compete to be called the King of the Ring for the entire rest of the year until the next King of the Ring premium live event. And what an honor it will be for either of these 2 superstars to take one step forward in that process. Of course, eventually culminating in someone being able to call themselves the very first King of the Ring in the World Wrestling Federation. Of course, the semifinals will be next week, so whoever wins our 4 matches here tonight, they all move on to next week's semifinals, and then the winners of those 2 matches will move on to our premium live event at the end of the month. Of course, Hercules represents raw power as a path to kingship, while High Chief Peter Maivia represents legacy, experience, and warrior spirit. Oh, look at that. Nice move there from the mighty Hercules, now locking in a headlock here on Maivia. Now, other tournament competitors such as Superstar Billy Graham, Bret the Hitman Hart, the Iron Sheik, Big John Studd, the British Bulldog, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, no doubt, are watching closely backstage. Oh, look at this. High Chief Peter Maivia going for a pin attempt, but only gets a 1 count, not even a 2 there. And now Hercules coming right back at Maivia, but Maivia with a nice reversal and just tosses Hercules like a rag doll. You don't see that often. Someone with the power of Maivia. Oh, but then an aggressive reversal there from Hercules into a pin, but only able to get a 1 count. Now Maivia with a pin. These 2 going back and forth. What a match here in the second match of episode number 3 of Saturday night's main event. This is our first King of the Ring quarterfinal. The winner of this match moves on to next week, where they will compete in the semifinals against the winner of one of our following matches here tonight. All 4 quarterfinals are tonight. Both semifinals will be next week. And here's a pin attempt from High Chief Peter Maivia. Could he get the win this early? I'm thinking no. Hercules able to kick out after just a 2 count. And this match will continue. Of course, the King of the Ring tournament bracket is wide open. So many incredible superstars involved. Any combination is possible in the finals. Any of the 8 capable of winning it. They're all top-notch superstars, hand-selected by the WWF general manager. Of course, champions are excluded from the King of the Ring selection process, and it could be argued that other incredible superstars, deserving superstars, were left out, such as Hulk Hogan, such as Andre the Giant. There's a superstar we've not seen yet by the name of the Ultimate Warrior, who a lot of people are saying could be the next big thing here in the World Wrestling Federation. Of course, you've got the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Many deserving superstars, but the general manager of the WWF was forced to only pick 8. And this is the 8 he decided to go with. And look at this High Chief Peter Maivia getting tossed out of the ring. Now Hercules going after him outside the ring. Of course, both superstars need to be careful and not get a countout. You don't want to lose any match in any fashion, but a countout particularly is tough to take when you don't get pinned or you don't submit. You're just unable to get back into that ring by the 10 counts. That's always a frustrating way to lose. Now, of course, being crowned King of the Ring carries prestige nearly equal to championship recognition. I think most superstars would say they'd rather have that World Heavyweight Championship or the Intercontinental Championship around their waist. But short of that, the next best thing is winning this King of the Ring competition and getting to call yourself wrestling royalty for an entire year. Look at that big right hand from the mighty Hercules. Hercules in control against Peter Maivia. High Chief Peter Maivia, of course, lost his opening match to Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff for the inaugural Intercontinental Championship title. And a man as skilled as High Chief Peter Maivia isn't looking to start his WWF career at 0-2, so he desperately wants to win this match. Of course, this is the first time we're getting to see Hercules in the squared circle here in the WWF. Now, winning the King of the Ring, of course, could potentially establish momentum towards future title opportunities. Of course, every match here in the WWF, whether it's on Saturday night's main event or on a premium live event. Oh, here's a pin attempt from Hercules. Can't even get a 1 count. Maivia absolutely not ready to give in just yet. And look at this, Hercules looking for a power bomb, it looks like. Oh, devastating power bomb there from Hercules, and High Chief Peter Maivia may be in trouble. But no, there's a nice counter from Maivia, and he's right back in control. Great move there by Maivia. Now going for the pin attempt. Could this be it? There's 1, there's 2, and no, a kick out at the last second from Hercules. Peter Maivia could not believe that wasn't a 3 count. He thought he had Hercules exactly where he wanted him, but it turned out not to be the case. Oh, look at that incredible flying headbutt, I believe, from High Chief Peter Maivia, but a counter right back from the mighty Hercules. These two going back and forth. Incredible match so far. Back to what I was talking about before. Of course, the general manager watches every single match, whether it's in Saturday night's main event or our premium live events. And anytime you get a win, you can be sure it is noticed backstage by the powers that be that are in charge of selecting the next championship competitors. And that's essentially the general manager, though he does, of course, take counsel from other high-ranking officials here in the WWF. There's a nice reversal from Hercules. Hercules looking to re-establish control, possibly move to the semifinals of this King of the Ring tournament. Of course, this tournament rewards survival just as much as dominance to win 3 different matches against incredible superstars, 1 in the quarterfinals, 1 in the semifinals, and then, of course, the final at the premium live event. Takes incredible endurance And look at that, Hercules had a submission move locked in, but he eventually gives up on it as it seemed High Chief Peter Maivia wasn't about to give in or submit anytime soon. So now Hercules looking to continue the attack outside the ring. We'll see how that goes for him. Tonight's winner, of course, gains belief, not just advancing in the tournament. You've got 8 incredible superstars in this tournament. You defeat one, you start to believe that you can defeat them all. And of course, as incredible as all these superstars are, they all think that they not only can win every match, but that they should win every match. Look at this, Hercules hoping to maybe get a win by countout, but High Chief Peter Maivia able to get into the ring. Oh, he ducks an attack by Hercules. And now these two look to trade blows. Both men refusing to back down 1 inch. Both men desperately wanting to move to the next round of this King of the Ring tournament. And High Chief Peter Maivia looked like he might be starting to establish some control, but they are going back at it, back and forth, exchanging blows and chops. They're just giving it everything they've got. And there's a nice counter from Hercules. He blocked one of Maivia's attempts, and he blocks another. Hercules starting to gain an edge, but no, a right hand back. Oh, and look at this. The two just absolutely going at it. The crowd going wild, roaring in approval. These two, what an incredible match we're seeing between these two. And there's another flying headbutt from Peter Maivia. This could be it. Here's a pin attempt. There's one. There is two. And no, a kick out from Hercules once again. I can't believe this match continues. This is definitely another instant classic from these two superstars. And now High Chief Peter Maivia looking to finish things. That's his finisher, I believe. I think that's going to be it, folks. There's one, there's two, and there is three. High Chief Peter Maivia gets the victory after an absolute war with the mighty Hercules. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of this incredible match. The High Chief Peter Maivia is the superstar who will move on to the semifinals next week. But what an incredible effort from the mighty Hercules. I think both of these two superstars have an incredibly bright future here in the WWF. And they both showed a lot of heart and resilience tonight. But in the end, only one man can walk away as your winner. And tonight that just happened to be High Chief Peter Maivia. He prevents an 0-2 start here in the WWF. That's something that you couldn't even imagine would be a possibility for the High Chief Peter Maivia. But when you wrestle two incredible superstars like Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff and then the mighty Hercules, that's definitely a very real possibility to start 0-2. But High Chief Peter Maivia able to get a huge victory here tonight. He will move on to the semifinals next week. He'll await his opponent. We've got 3 more quarterfinals coming up tonight. All 4 winners move to the semifinals next week with the ultimate goal of being in the final match at our premium live event. And look at the marks all over High Chief Peter Maivia's body. He has been through an absolute war here tonight, but he emerges victorious. And we'll see more from the mighty Hercules down the road, no doubt. But here tonight, it is High Chief Peter Maivia standing tall as your winner. And he will move on to next week to the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament. It's now time for our next quarterfinal coming right up. All right, it's time for our next match, quarterfinal number 2 in the King of the Ring tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, the tournament rolls on, and this quarterfinal matchup may be the most stylistically fascinating of them all. On one side stands a rising technician, a tag team specialist, a man many believe represents the future of this sport, Bret the Hitman Hart, with of course his tag team partner Jim the Anvil Neidhart watching closely at ringside. His opponent tonight is a man forged in cruelty and conflict, a competitor who believes pain is the truest path to victory, the Iron Sheik. Only one will advance, and with High Chief Peter Maivia already confirmed as a semifinalist, the implications of this match are crystal clear. The road to the King of the Ring crown does not favor comfort or familiarity. It rewards adaptability, toughness, and the ability to survive radically different opponents. And tonight, that truth is on full display. Already in the ring, Bret the Hitman Hart, hailing from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, coming from one of the most respected wrestling families in the world, trained from a young age in technical and submission-based wrestling. He's known for precision, balance, and flawless execution. He relies on conditioning and ring awareness rather than brute strength, and approaches wrestling as a discipline and a craft. Calls himself the excellence of execution. But his opponent tonight, one of the best professional wrestlers in the world, the Iron Sheik. He hails from Tehran, Iran, or Iran, if we want to pronounce it correctly. He brings a ruthless, no compassion mindset into every match. Known for punishing opponents with painful submission holds, he wrestles with a philosophy centered on breaking wills, not just bodies. Thrives in matches that test endurance and suffering. Is competed internationally in brutal environments. Of course, the Iron Sheik sees the King of the Ring crown as a symbol of domination, and there is nothing the Iron Sheik wants more than to just dominate all competition here in the WWF. But as this match begins, you can see Bret the Hitman Hart with an early advantage working on the arm, but there's a reversal from the Iron Sheik. Now the Sheik working on Bret Hart's arm. This is going to be a fascinating matchup. Both wrestlers incredibly skilled, and Hart counters with another great move there. We'll see a lot of reversals in this match, that's absolutely certain. Now we're not entirely 100% sure of the format of the tournament bracket, but this quarterfinal could determine who faces Peter Maivia in the semifinals. Of course, we just saw the High Chief Peter Maivia defeat the Mighty Hercules to qualify for the semifinals next week in this King of the Ring tournament. The winner of this match will also move on to those semifinals, and we're assuming that the winner of this match will take on High Chief Peter Maivia. But of course, that is subject to change. We'll have to wait to see what the matches are next week to confirm that. Of course, the Hitman's technical precision tonight could contrast sharply with the Iron Sheik's brutality. Look at this. Bret Hart with another incredible move, gaining the upper hand for the moment at least against what many consider one of the best superstars, professional wrestlers in the world, the Iron Sheik. Not a whole lot of people are a fan of the Iron Sheik's personality, but you've got to admit he's one of the top talents in the ring. But look at this, Bret Hart fighting back once again, looking to re-establish control. Of course, Bret Hart, a tag team specialist, maybe not quite yet ready for a run in the singles division, but he's giving it a shot here with the support of his tag team partner, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, sitting at ringside. But many consider Bret Hart to be one of the superstars that will lead professional wrestling into the future. So he's getting a shot here early against one of the best in the world. Let's see what he can do with it. Some elbows delivered by Bret Hart to the Iron Sheik. He's holding his own tonight, that's for certain. I think a lot of the odds makers said that it would be an absolute certainty that the Iron Sheik would win tonight, but Bret the Hitman Hart, despite being mostly a tag team specialist, is hanging right in there with the Sheik. Of course, Bret the Hitman Hart would look to outmaneuver Peter Maivia if they meet down the road in the semifinals, while the Iron Sheik would more than likely seek to overpower and punish High Chief Peter Maivia physically. Of course, this tournament endurance favors Hart's conditioning. You've got to be able to take on 3 different incredible superstars in 3 consecutive weeks. Here is a pin attempt. The referee only gets to 2. We nearly had a big upset there as Bret the Hitman Hart continues to hold his own in the ring with one of the best in the world, the Iron Sheik. Of course, the pain in all these matches, wrestling so many matches in quick succession, that pain tolerance from the Iron Sheik, that's an advantage for him. But here's another pin attempt from the Hitman, but the Sheik kicks out almost immediately. Only a 1 count there for the Hitman. Jim the Anvil Neidhart's presence at ringside adds some security, I should say, against the Iron Sheik's tactics. Of course, we know the Iron Sheik willing to do anything to win. Here's another pin attempt from the Hitman. He's going for quite a few pin attempts. He gets to 2, but not quite 3, as the Iron Sheik is able to kick out, and the match will continue. Look at that. Hitman maybe going for the sharpshooter there, but the Iron Sheik too quick for him, able to reverse out of it. And now the Iron Sheik biding his time, recovering a bit, and then delivers a crushing shoulder to the midsection of Bret the Hitman Hart. And now look at this, the Iron Sheik removing a turnbuckle pad. I'm not sure the referee saw that. We'll see if the Iron Sheik plans to use that exposed turnbuckle ring. Oh, there's a devastating suplex on the outside of the ring from the Iron Sheik. And the Hitman may be in trouble for the first time in this match. It looks as though the Iron Sheik is beginning to assert his dominance, and the referee has spotted that exposed turnbuckle pad. She is currently reattaching that turnbuckle pad, so the plans of the Iron Sheik go for naught here. A big stomp to the back. Oh, and look at this. This might be it. He's ready to lock in that patented camel clutch. This could be it. Will Bret the Hitman Hart submit? No, the Iron Sheik released the hold pretty early, but Hart did not submit. It looks like the Iron Sheik maybe is not yet done inflicting pain. He doesn't want to go for the win just yet. Big boot there to the face of the Hitman. But look at this, Bret Hart fighting back. Big clothesline there from the Hitman. Can he get the victory? He's going to go for a pin. This may be a little too early again. The Hitman may be showing his inexperience in the singles division, going for so many pin attempts rather than continuing the offense. But now look at this incredible maneuver by the Hitman. A submission hold. Will the Iron Sheik submit? No, Sheik is able to reverse out of it. Of course, winning here tonight brings that competitor one step closer to being crowned King of the Ring. We've already seen Heichi Peter Maivia advance. This is our second of 4 quarterfinals. We've got 2 more coming tonight. We know that we'll see one of the most physically imposing superstars in the WWF, Big John Studd, taking on the British Bulldog, another tag team specialist, in one more quarterfinal. And in our last quarterfinal, we'll see superstar Billy Graham take on Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh, here's a pin attempt from the Sheik, and he's using the ropes. The referee doesn't see it. The Anvil doesn't see it either. This could be it, but no, Bret Hart still somehow able to kick out. Nice quick move there from the Hitman, but a swift reversal from the Iron Sheik, and Bret Hart has been busted open. And now the Iron Sheik setting up the Hitman for the finishing move. If he locks it in, I think this might be it, folks. Yes, the Iron Sheik has applied the camel clutch, and this time he's not going to let him out so easily. Maybe he will. He lets him out pretty quickly. And now the Sheik just looking in disgust at the Hitman. Now a double axe handle to the back of the Hitman. Now going for a pin. Could this be it? He's applied the camel clutch a couple times now. Hart may be weakened to the point he gets the 3 count, and he does. The Iron Sheik gets the victory. A huge win for the Iron Sheik. A spirited effort from the Hitman, but he couldn't quite overcome the odds and get the win. Now with Iron Sheik winning, the entire tone of the tournament changes. His advancement signals that cruelty and submission can carry a man deep into the bracket, and every remaining competitor will know that one mistake could mean unbearable pain from the Iron Sheik. This Sheik victory places fear directly into the semifinals. It reshapes potential matchups, possibly with Heichi Peter Maivia, and definitely has elevated the Iron Sheik from dangerous entrant to legitimate favorite. For the Iron Sheik himself, it proves that the path to his kingship is paved not with applause, but with agony. The road to the crown continues, and with every round, the pressure only grows. But here tonight, the Iron Sheik able to defeat Bret the Hitman Hart. We've now got half of our semifinalists set. Heichi Peter Maivia has advanced. The Iron Sheik has advanced. And we've got 2 more quarterfinals coming up. Who will be the remaining 2 superstars that join the Iron Sheik and Heichi Peter Maivia in the semifinals? We will find out soon enough as we move to our next match of the night, our 3rd quarterfinal in the King of the Ring tournament. We'll see you in just a second, folks. All right, folks, we've got yet another quarterfinal, our third of the night, as the British Bulldog will be taking on Big John Studd. Fans, the tournament continues, and this quarterfinal matchup may hinge on one critical question: does size alone guarantee victory? These two opponents, one of them is one of the largest men in professional wrestling today, a competitor whose presence alone intimidates nearly everyone he faces, Big John Studd. His opponent tonight, currently walking down to the ring with his tag team partner, the Dynamite Kid, is a man who has treated this opportunity like a mission, not a moment, the British Bulldog. Power meets preparation, and only one will advance toward the King of the Ring crown. Already in the ring now, the British Bulldog. He represents the proud tradition of British professional wrestling. He's trained extensively in strength, conditioning, and technical fundamentals. He's known for remarkable power relative to his size. He combines explosiveness with disciplined execution and has spent countless hours preparing specifically for this tournament. Trains closely with the Dynamite Kid, his tag team partner, sharpening technique and endurance. But his opponent tonight, one of the favorites easily in this King of the Ring tournament, and potentially one of the biggest threats to the World Heavyweight Champion, who is currently Bruno Sammartino. This is Big John Studd. Only Andre the Giant is bigger than this man, but for Big John Studd, he can sometimes assume that his size means an easy victory. That's some of the gossip backstage. Big John Studd hails from the United States. He is one of the largest competitors in the WWF, as we mentioned. He nearly rivals the eighth wonder of the world, Andre the Giant, in sheer size. He uses height and weight as his primary weapons. He's overwhelmed many opponents without needing any finesse. He's known for relying heavily on intimidation that his size brings. He's somewhat developed a reputation for underestimating smaller wrestlers and appears to expect victories to come easily based on his size alone. And these two match up. Big John Studd right away gaining an upper hand in this match. Maybe he is right that his size, some wrestlers just can't compete with this disadvantage, as he is just towers over most other wrestlers aside from Andre the Giant. Interestingly enough, we've never seen Big John Studd and Andre the Giant go head-to-head. What a matchup that would be someday. But for tonight, it's the British Bulldog hoping to pull off an incredible upset in this King of the Ring quarterfinal. This quarterfinal tests whether preparation can overcome physical dominance, of course. Big John Studd immediately, when the names were circulating, oh, look at that. Incredible power from the British Bulldog. That kind of surprised Big John Studd. They lock up immediately again. Big John Studd now backing the British Bulldog up. That kind of angered Big John Studd. It seemed like the British Bulldog overpowering him for just a second. That was definitely a surprise. Oh, look at that. Incredible move there by the British Bulldog, but a quick reversal from Big John Studd. Now, oh, here's a pin attempt. Studd thinks he's already got it secured, but no, British Bulldog kicks out before even a one count. There's another example of Big John Studd kind of underestimating his opponent, thinking one or two moves is going to do him in. He's going to be able to get the 3-count victory. Thanks to his sheer size, the competitors will just quit. If you're looking for an opponent to quit, the British Bulldog is the wrong man. This quarterfinal tests whether preparation can overcome physical dominance. We mentioned that before. We've been hearing that Big John Studd has not taken this match too seriously. As soon as his rumors were circulating that Big John Studd would be one of the competitors in this tournament, he was immediately recognized as one of the favorites and potentially an automatic winner of this tournament, since he would have such a size advantage. Andre the Giant was not mentioned as a participant in this tournament, so Big John Studd by default was kind of viewed as the favorite. We've heard rumors that he has not prepared as stringently as he should. On the other hand, we've heard the British Bulldog has been training like a maniac with his tag team partner, the Dynamite Kid. He's trying to make the most of this opportunity. Of course, he's a tag team specialist like Bret the Hitman Hart, who we saw compete in our last match. but the British Bulldog definitely has potential to be an incredible single star someday. And the Bulldog, from what we're hearing, trained night and day for this match. He wants to shock the world. Despite no one thinking he has a shot tonight, the British Bulldog fully believes that he can win this match. And they continue to go at it. Big John Studd with control of the match for the moment, slamming British Bulldog's head into that turnbuckle pad and just overpowering the Bulldog at the moment. Now, Dynamite Kid's presence at ringside highlights the British Bulldog's disciplined approach. Of course, a Big John Studd victory would reinforce size as one of the main deciding factors in this tournament. No other superstar can come close to the sheer size and power of Big John Studd. But look at this, British Bulldog establishing some control in this match, and he currently has the upper hand. But there's a nice reversal from Big John Studd. We go back the other way quickly. Now, a British Bulldog win would redefine expectations. That would definitely put the wrestling world on notice to the capabilities of the Bulldog. And here's a pin attempt by Big John Studd. This could be it, ladies and gentlemen. There's a 2 count, but no, British Bulldog refusing to give in. Big John Studd in disbelief, once again thinking that the Bulldog would quit, seeing the overwhelming size advantage. Oh, and this has got to be it, folks. Big John Studd applying the bear hug. We saw Andre the Giant defeat Brutus the Barber Beefcake last week in the same method. But look at this. British Bulldog does not tap out, and Big John Studd releases him from the hole. That could be a mistake. Now, other competitors definitely are going to be watching this match for any weaknesses in Big John Studd. As we mentioned, so many superstars just assuming Big John Studd will be in the finals of this tournament, since he will be towering over every other competitor. He'll have a strength advantage. But British Bulldog again refusing to back down, fighting back, and he is now, oh, look at that. A low blow there from the British Bulldog. It's almost comical to see how the British Bulldog basically only comes to halfway up Big John Studd's chest. But British Bulldog continuing to fight hard. He's actually got, oh, and there's a reversal. British Bulldog had momentum for a bit, but Big John Studd right back in control and looking to dominate. Oh, look at this. The sheer power from Big John Studd throws the British Bulldog down. Oh, but there's a quick reversal. British Bulldog once again refusing to give in, but there's a reversal right back. And the incredible, oh, another reversal. Back and forth they go. British Bulldog now going for a pin. I can't imagine this will be a 3 count. Only a 1 count for the Bulldog there. But I'd have to say the crowd here starting to, oh, look at this power from the British Bulldog. He has picked Big John Studd up and delivers a massive slam going for the 3 count. This could be it. Could we see a huge upset? There's 2. No. Big John Studd able to kick out just before the 3 count. The crowd thought it was going to happen. British Bulldog thought it was going to happen. But Big John Studd is able to kick out. There's a huge right hand from the Bulldog. Things are starting to get interesting, folks. The crowd, you can feel the buzz in the crowd as they start to believe that the British Bulldog could actually do this, could actually defeat the much larger man. Oh, look at that power slam from the British Bulldog. Big John Studd is on the ropes, ladies and gentlemen. He is feeling it. He is starting to wear out. The British Bulldog has him. Oh, look at this. Now the 2 men trading blows. I can't imagine this will work out well for the British Bulldog. You can see the obvious size disadvantage that the British Bulldog is working with. But the Bulldog, oh, now they're just raining down blows on each other. Neither man refusing to give in. Incredible match. For British Bulldog to be this competitive alone is absolutely shocking. Oh, and look at more incredible displays of power from the British Bulldog. Another power slam, and that could be it, folks. Big John Studd looks completely dazed, and yes, that is a 3 count. The British Bulldog has done it. He has shocked the world. The crowd going absolutely crazy. No one thought that the British Bulldog had a chance tonight. Big John Studd just towering over the British Bulldog. I'm actually not sure after watching that match that Big John Studd had much of a strength advantage. The British Bulldog certainly held his own. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't believe what we just witnessed. Against all expectations, against the size, against the odds, the British Bulldog has done it. Big John Studd came into this match believing his size would carry him through. But tonight, preparation, focus, and relentless determination changed everything. The British Bulldog has shocked the WWF Universe, and with this victory, he officially joins High Chief Peter Maivia and the Iron Sheik in the King of the Ring semifinals next week. This tournament just took a dramatic turn, and if tonight has taught us anything, it's this: nothing is guaranteed on the road to the crown. Now, folks, we've got one more match tonight, the main event, our last quarterfinal in the King of the Ring tournament. The British Bulldog reveling in his huge upset victory. But we've got one more match. That will be superstar Billy Graham taking on Hacksaw Jim Duggan in our last King of the Ring quarterfinal. Who will be the last man to join the semifinals and move on to next week in this King of the Ring tournament? We're about to find out. Our main event up next. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our main event of Saturday night's main event episode number 3, the final quarterfinal in the inaugural King of the Ring tournament. And when this match is over, the semifinals will be set. The two opponents in this match are two men who thrive on intensity, presence, and raw charisma. On one side, we've got the blue-collar brawler whose toughness is unquestioned, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, making his way down to the ring now with surprisingly similar music to Big John Studd. His opponent tonight will be a man who believes superstardom is his birthright, superstar Billy Graham. One fights for pride and perseverance, the other for validation and redemption. And only one will move on to the semifinals of this King of the Ring tournament. In the ring now, hailing from Glens Falls, New York, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, known for a rugged, no-nonsense fighting style, a proud American. The crowd loves to cheer for him because of that. He's built his reputation through toughness and resilience, thrives in physical, grinding matches. He wrestles with heart and determination and represents the blue-collar spirit of the World Wrestling Federation. His opponent tonight, a man not to be taken lightly, one of the top professional wrestlers in the world, one of the most charismatic figures in wrestling history, known for his imposing physique and presence. He blends power with showmanship. He uses intimidation as part of his strategy. He carries himself as a main event attraction, recently coming close to capturing the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. And back on Saturday night's main event, episode number 1, he lost a heartbreaker to Bruno Sammartino for the right to be called the very first WWF World Heavyweight Champion. And since he lost that match, he'd like nothing more than to run right through this tournament and become your King of the Ring here in the WWF. Now, this match determines the final semifinalists, of course. We've seen already High Chief Peter Maivia defeat the Mighty Hercules in our first King of the Ring quarterfinal. We saw the Iron Sheik defeat Bret the Hitman Hart in our second quarterfinal. The British Bulldog shocked everyone in the arena and around the professional wrestling world with his huge upset of Big John Studd in our most recent King of the Ring quarterfinal. And this is our final quarterfinal of the night, pitting two incredible superstars. Superstar Billy Graham, who, again, as we mentioned, almost won the WWF World Heavyweight Championship just a few weeks ago, taking on Hacksaw Jim Duggan. This is the first time we've seen Duggan in a WWF match. Of course, Billy Graham is driven by frustration from his loss to Bruno Sammartino a couple weeks ago. Graham wants to dominate this tournament to reestablish his status as one of the top superstars in professional wrestling. Duggan enters this tournament with nothing to lose and everything to prove. This is definitely a clash in styles. Brawling endurance versus explosive power. We'll see which one comes out on top. Oh, look at that cheat move by superstar Billy Graham. But Hacksaw Jim Duggan counters with a nice move there. And Duggan now, for the moment at least, in control. This crowd rooting hard for the blue-collar, all-American hacksaw Jim Duggan. But it looks like Billy Graham not letting hacksaw Jim Duggan establish control in this match for very long. Of course, right now you'd have to consider superstar Billy Graham among the very top professional wrestlers in the WWF. That's why he got that title shot back on episode 1 of Saturday night's main event. He's right there with Bruno Sammartino as one of the most accomplished professional wrestlers the WWF has, and he's looking to add a kingship to his resume if he can win this tournament. And look at this, the power from Billy Graham, lifting hacksaw Jim Duggan above his head, just dropping him down. Duggan may be in trouble already, folks. This has been somewhat of a one-sided match. Duggan's had a few offensive moves in there, but the rest of them have been all Graham. But look at this, Duggan fighting back now. He's going to need to do a lot of damage if he hopes to win this match. Of course, a superstar Billy Graham victory adds star power to the semifinals, while hacksaw Jim Duggan victory would represent perseverance over ego, something the crowd loves to see in the WWF. The semifinals will feature sharply contrasting personalities no matter who wins this match. The King of the Ring crown, of course, representing redemption for superstar Billy Graham. Look at this. A submission hold applied, but hacksaw is able to break out of it. And Billy Graham goes right back to a bear hug. This could be it. Looks like hacksaw Jim Duggan may be hurt, folks. He's grimacing in absolute agony. And yes, he just tapped out. That is going to be it, folks. A surprisingly short match. I think hacksaw Jim Duggan might have injured something there. He usually does not give in that easily. But when you're facing superstar Billy Graham, he can end the match at any point. He's so skilled and so powerful. What a statement we just witnessed. Superstar Billy Graham came into this match with something to prove, and tonight he proved it in emphatic fashion. After falling short against Bruno Sammartino for the WWF World Championship, Graham made it clear that disappointment would not define him. This victory propels him into the King of the Ring semifinals next week, restores his momentum, and sends a message to every remaining competitor. Billy Graham is not finished, and he is determined to leave this tournament wearing that crown. The road to kingship now runs straight through the superstar. Fans, thank you so much for joining us for WWF Saturday night's main event. Tonight, the road to history truly began, and next week the stakes rise even higher as the King of the Ring semifinals take center stage on episode 4. 4 men will remain, only 2 will move one step closer to being crowned the very first King of the Ring at our premium live event this month. And don't forget, if you want even more hard-hitting action, rivalries, and championship implications, be sure to tune in to WCW Saturday Night Episode 4. For now, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next week on Saturday night's main event. Good night, everybody.